Christmas, my beautiful listeners and watchers. If you're brand new here, welcome. My name is Megan, and this is Vigilante Vibes, where we talk all things Marvel. And since it's Christmas, I figured what better way to celebrate than talking about one of the wildest character Marvel comics that is completely on theme with Christmas, and it continues my coverage of the underrated mutants of Marvel Universe. I'm talking about Santa Claus. You heard that right. Santa Claus is canonically? I just realized I've never said that word out loud before. So hopefully that's right. Anyways, Santa Claus is an Omega Level Mutant. Before I get started, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything else I put out, because I put out so much. Comic reviews, movie reviews, trailer reactions, character breakdowns, wonderful interviews with wonderful guests, if I do say so myself. So be sure to follow. Also, I am super sick. What better thing do you want on Christmas Eve than being super sick? So apologize for all this. And if I look like I'm dying, it's probably because I am. So let's get into this. So Santa Claus, an Omega level mutant. How did this come about? How do we know? Is it confirmed in the comics? I'm going to tell you all of it. At one point, the X-Men's mutant detecting supercomputer Cerebro actually identified Santa Claus as the most powerful Omega level mutant it has ever registered. That puts him in the same category, if not more, as characters like Iceman, Cable, even Jean Grey. This reveal comes from the story A Miracle a Few Blocks Down from 34th Street by Scott Lobdell and Dave Cockrum, which appeared in the 1991 Marvel Holiday Special. The whole thing starts with the X-Men just hanging out, chilling, decorating their Christmas tree when Cerebro suddenly starts going nuts. It alerts them that the strongest mutant it has ever detected has just appeared. When they follow the signal to Manhattan, they discover that the source of this massive mutant power is Santa Claus. The team rushes to Rockefeller Center, meets Santa face to face, and things immediately go off the rails. Santa casually turns the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants into toys and then wipes everyone's memory of the encounter like it's no big deal. And what I love the most about the story was how cocky Santa Claus was. I don't know. It's just so funny. That memory wipe is pretty much the reason Santa being an Omega level mutant has almost never come up again, because no one remembers it even happened. And honestly, it's the perfect example of just how ridiculously overpowered Santa is in Marvel Comics. Thankfully, the X-Men weren't the last major heroes to cross paths with the mysterious Man in Red. So now let's dive into the backstory of Marvel's Omega level mutant Santa Claus. Santa made his very first official appearance in Marvel canon all the way back in 1955, before Marvel Comics was even officially Marvel Comics. He debuted under the Atlas Comics banner in Strange Tales number 34, which was an anthology series that leaned hard into weird and supernatural stories. So of course it had to have Santa Claus. In this particularly strange tale, a struggling garage attendant named Sammy Glenn gets the chance to borrow the car of a wealthy customer for 6 hours. During that short window, his entire life turns around. He lands a better job, even finds love. By the end of the issue, it's revealed that the rich customer was Santa Claus the entire time, and this was his roundabout way of giving Santa an early Christmas present, which is, adorable. In the Marvel Universe, Santa has just as many origin stories as he does in real life, if not more. According to Marvel lore, there were actually 3 separate figures whose legends eventually blended together. Over time, humanity's collective beliefs merged those stories into the single being we now know as Santa Claus. This unusual history was officially laid out in the official handbook of the Marvel Universe profile featured in the 2006 Marvel Holiday Special. It's just, if you go looking for it, just look for the pages with no pictures. It's just words all over. So it's a lot of reading, but it's interesting. It goes into the whole backstory of Santa Claus and where he came from. One of those original Santas was the real world Saint Nicholas, the Bishop of Myra in what is now modern day Turkey. He was famous for his generosity, including the story where he secretly gave gold to 3 impoverished women so they could afford dowries and get married. Today, St. Nicholas is remembered as the patron saint of children, especially poor children and travelers, and he's often described as a protector of anyone in need. Another influence came from Old Winter, a figure rooted in pre-medieval Britain. During the winter solstice, a trusted elder from the village would dress in animal furs and go door to door, offering food and drink to anyone who showed hospitality. Over time, this tradition evolved into Old Father Christmas and eventually just Father Christmas. The third and final influence on Marvel's Santa mythology is Odin, the All-Father of Asgard. In the 1991 Marvel Holiday Special, Odin stepped in to save a Norse village's midwinter celebration. He gifted the villagers some of Asgard's finest food, wine, linens, and even arranged a guiding signal to help lost sailors find their way home in time for the feast. These legends eventually merged with the others, giving rise to the Santa Claus we now know in Marvel Comics. Marvel's Santa is clearly powerful, but exactly where that power comes from is still kind of unclear. Since he's fueled by belief, he feels closer to a god on par with the Asgardians or even the Greek pantheon. At the same time, his abilities are often described as magical, which makes sense considering Odin's involvement. But then things get complicated because Santa has also been confirmed to be a mutant, so he has an X gene. Being a mutant doesn't mean you can't use magic, though. Characters like Magic, Ileana Rasputina, and the Goblin Queen, Madeline Pryor, do both, but it definitely does blur the lines. When it comes to his abilities, Santa is functionally immortal, can deadlift around 2 tons, and has claimed to possess super speed, although he still relies on his sleigh and reindeer to get around. His magic sack has near infinite storage, allowing him to carry gifts for every good person on Earth. He also appears to be telepathic, instantly knowing whether someone has been naughty or nice, and may even have passive mind control or charisma abilities that make people more kind just by being near him. Santa also doesn't work alone. He's assisted in his yearly gift-giving mission by an entire workforce of elves who spend most of the year building toys and prepping the sleigh for Christmas Eve. In a very Marvel twist, these elves aren't just fairy tale creatures. They're actually interdimensional refugees from Alfheim, the realm of the Light Elves in Asgardian lore. While Marvel hasn't fully told the story of how these elves came to work for Santa, most of them seem genuinely happy in the North Pole workshop, especially when you consider that Alfheim is frequently caught up in wars and cosmic disasters, so they really got the best end of that deal by taking that job. Over the years, Santa has crossed paths with a shocking number of Marvel characters. In Marvel Age number 109, he was kidnapped by Adolf Hitler, prompting Captain America, Bucky, and Nick Fury to launch a rescue mission. Later, in Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 10, Santa helped foil a hate-monger plot to bomb New York City on Christmas Eve. One of the villains became so distracted by the sight of Santa flying his sleigh that he crashed his plane into the bomb, setting it off early. Santa also has teamed up with Howard the Duck twice, worked undercover with She-Hulk as a private investigator under the alias Nick St. Christopher, and once joined forces with Luke Cage and Iron Fist to banish the demon Krampus. Deadpool was even hired to assassinate him, though to Wade Wilson's credit, he absolutely could not go through with it. While Santa first tangled with characters like Captain America and the X-Men, he's been popping up across Marvel Comics for decades now, which has given him plenty of opportunities to team up with just about anyone. He's helped Spider-Man shut down a dangerous Santa impersonator, assisted Captain Marvel in stopping an evil corporation from experimenting on homeless people, battling Nanny and the Orphan Maker, and even taught the Great Lakes Avengers and X-Men the true meaning of Christmas. Going back to when he worked with She-Hulk, he tried to do something different. During one off season, he created the persona Nick St. Christopher and hit the streets of New York City as a hard-boiled private investigator. In that role, Santa crossed paths with She-Hulk again, helped her investigate a serial killer case she was working on. As a Christmas gift, he also gave her the ability to revert back to Jennifer Walters, something she could not do at the time. so she could spend the holidays with her family. After that, Santa retired the PI gig and headed back to the North Pole. Then there's the infamous story where Santa Claus welded the Infinity Gauntlet. This story takes place in an alternate universe and isn't considered official canon, but it is set in a universe nearly identical to Earth 616. In that reality, Santa 42409 discovered that his reindeer had been replaced by Skrulls. To make sure Christmas wasn't ruined, he asked the Illuminati to borrow the Infinity Gauntlet so he could finish his deliveries. Unfortunately, even Santa wasn't immune to the Gauntlet's corruptive influence. Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, and the rest of the team had to step in and forcibly remove it from him, something they managed to do, but only just. Like, they barely got it. Once it was over, Tony Stark built Santa a set of robotic reindeer, and Christmas was saved once again by Earth's most influential heroes and by Santa, Earth's mightiest mutant. Possibly the weirdest Marvel moment of it all came in the What the number 10 from 1990. After Santa was injured by Doctor Doom's security systems, Doom felt honor-bound to finish Santa's Christmas deliveries himself. The whole experience even ended with Doom receiving a stuffed bear, a gift from a young girl who had earlier saved him from getting beaten up by superheroes who assumed he was doing something shady, which is very, very fair because it's Doctor Doom. But I mean, he's delivering presents. Oh, you can't assume he's the Grinch. But I love Doom. I'd follow him into battle, so who am I to judge? So yeah, that is Santa Claus in the Marvel Universe. When I first learned of Santa Claus in the Marvel Universe, I didn't think he was even anything more than Santa. I didn't think he was a mutant. I didn't think he had all these team ups. I didn't think he had lore that had to do with the Marvel Universe. So I hope you guys learned something from this, and I hope you have a lovely holiday, whether it's Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever you believe, and whatever you celebrate. I will be going to take some aspirin and go wrap presents until my brain falls out of my eye sockets because I am so sick right now. So I hope it didn't show too much in my episode. So with that being said, happy holidays and have a marvelous day.